Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to do two clothes transformations that I did 2 years ago, which is why at the end of the video I'll be giving a sort of verdict. The verdict will be about how well they look now, I suppose, since I did these two clothes projects in summer 2019, so I washed them, I wore them. You'll get to see how well they were kept. I will also be giving advice and things that I would have done differently to the way I did it the first time, so if it's something that you're interested in, then definitely stay until that. But yeah, I'll tell you more later after explaining how I did these clothes. The first one, I didn't show a before part, but I just took a medium-sized white t-shirt from the men's section. You can use whatever t-shirt you have laying around, preferably white. Other colours would be very difficult to transfer colour onto, but yeah. The first thing that I did was making a balloon dog cutout out of cardboard and carefully placing it onto the t-shirt so I know exactly where the design will be. I secured it on with masking tape. After that's done, I went in with a textile pencil and outlined the entire dog cutout. I also used a photo reference to make sure that I drew the lines that were covered by the cardboard, so the lines that are on the inside. For the painting part, I used these fabric paints from Montmartre. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I also used Posca markers for both the outline and some of the circles for which I didn't have the paint equivalent. I did these without any guidelines. You can definitely use a compass or any other tool to make sure that the circles are perfectly traced, but I just eyed it. So this is what it looks like with just the basic outlines of the design. Just before the painting process, I put canvases or cardboard pieces underneath to prevent it from transferring onto the back of the t-shirt. I used fabric paints and Posca markers, but I've seen other people use acrylics mixed with textile medium, and that could maybe work just as well. After I finished painting it all, I went in with a textile paint or Posca marker and outlined the entire balloon dog. And this is what it looks like just after the design was painted onto the t-shirt, so before putting it in the wash. For the second clothes upcycling, I took a waistcoat I never wore and cut out the shoulder parts so the front and back weren't linked by the shoulders. I folded the excess fabric, about 8 centimeters maybe. Then I pinned it all. You can use normal pins for this, I just used paper clips because I felt like it was just easier and more secure. Plus, I'm kind of low-key scared of pins and how sharp they are, so I do try to stay away from them if I can. After this is all done, I cut a piece of fabric to use as future reference for the cutout of the 2 armpit holes of the waistcoat. Like that, I know how much fabric I need to fill in these parts. I made sure to pin this perfectly well to the sides, so if you're recreating this, then take your time with this step. I also made sure to take in a bit of the waistcoat, so it was more flattering on the figure and it would hug the hip better once it's turned into a skirt. At first I pinned this underneath the fabric, but don't. By doing it on top, you'll be able to remove it when you'll need to sew it. This is what it looks like from the outside. I'm just checking to see if it looks right. In between these clips, I tried it on and realized it was too big around the waist, so I took in a bit more of the fabric so it would fit me better. I'm really just winging it. I didn't really know what I was doing half the time, so I just tried it on, made changes and other things that comes with upcycling, I suppose. Once I'm happy with how much fabric I took in, I'm marking it with a textile pencil so I know how much fabric I need to cut out of the excess fabric of the waistcoat to fill in the holes with the exact same fabric. I didn't film a huge part of the process after that because it was just me sewing all along the parts where I placed pins, but basically what I did was I removed the white fabric and I cut the 2 pieces I needed out of the leftover waistcoat fabric, and then I sewed it all. So as you can see, it blends in with the rest of the skirt. This is what it looks like. You do have to wear a belt with it, but that's completely fine, and shorts are needed as well, but again, that's fine too. Now on to the verdict. The first one that I did was the t-shirt, and there are quite quite a few things that I would change. As you can see in the video, it's definitely more washed out than it was before washing it, and I think that's definitely something to expect. It's never going to be as vibrant as you first do it. The washing will always remove a bit of the colour. For example, the dark blue, the dark green, and yeah, those are the two least visible. And the reason behind that is because for these two I used postcard markers. I used these ones, and that's why I think, like, when I first started, I mixed the blue paint and I mixed it with dark blue paint. Well, no, I'm getting so confused. At first, I was headstrong on doing only paint, which is why I started the blue circle by mixing blue paint and black paint. That's the one. But I knew that it was going to be patchy and I didn't really like the colour, so I decided that I was going to do it with the postcard markers. However, I think if you can use something else than postcard markers, then do so. I think paint will definitely show up more than postcard markers. My mistake especially was that when I drew on the t-shirt with especially the blue postcard marker, it wasn't very pigmented. The ink wasn't coming out of the pen as much as it could have done. I think I should have, shaken it like it says on the pen. For the blue that you see the least on the t-shirt, that was just my mistake. I should have tried to get more blue paint out of the tube. So you can get quite vibrant colours from postcard markers. It's not forbidden to use postcard markers. For example, I use the red postcard marker for the red circles and it doesn't look too bad. I also use the orange postcard marker for the circles as well, and again it's more washed out than the paint, but it was a very small postcard markers that I used, so obviously it was harder to get more of the ink onto the t-shirts. Basically what I want to say is, if you can not use postcard markers, do so. But you can use postcard markers if you make sure to get a lot of paint onto the t-shirt and if you use bigger pens. Yeah, ignore the patchiness of the dog. That's something that I did as well that shouldn't happen for you, but I didn't wash my paintbrush well enough between using it for the green circles and then doing the dog afterwards, so you can probably tell that there are some green dots on the dog, and that is why I went in with my yellow postcard markers to sort of hide those dots before going in with the paint, which is why in some spots they're very bright because they're covered in postcard marker and paint. That's just my mistake. Make sure to clean your paintbrushes extremely well so that doesn't happen. Another thing that I didn't do properly but that you can easily fix about the washed out look that it has, that's also because, as you can tell in the clips that I showed, I was being extremely economical with the paint since it was very, very small content. So I was just trying to use as little as possible. And I think for this type of design and this type of project with textile, you always have to be you have to be more generous than I was. I was definitely trying too hard to not use as much paint as I could. For example, for a lot of the colours that I used, these fabric paints, I only used the lid and a little bit of the tube. For example, for the yellow one, I stopped right here. So I definitely didn't use a lot, and I think for this type of project you can definitely go more generously than I did, otherwise it will not look as bright as you would want it to. Now on to the skirt. The skirt honestly looks the same. It didn't really change anything. I still wear it. I don't wear it that often because it's not the most comfortable skirt and you can't really do as much as you would be able to with trousers and other flowier skirts. Yeah, it still looks exactly as it did 2 years ago. I mean, it's more the shirt that went through a little bit of changes, but it still looks, okay, and I'm sure you can go in with paint if the faded look gets too faded and you want it to pop out again, so yeah. I hope this video was helpful and that the instructions weren't too long and too difficult to understand, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye! I also wanted to quickly mention that I've been wanting to make designs and t-shirt designs for quite a few years now, and that's why I now have a Teespring shop, where I put this balloon dog design on there as a white t-shirt and sweatshirt. I transformed this into a digital design. I made a whole process that you might be seeing on the screen right now. I'm planning on ordering samples to make sure that the quality is as good as it could be for you guys, but I don't know when that will be. I don't know how it will look once it's printed on there, but you can see on the website how it looks. It won't look exactly the same since the dimensions aren't the same. The drawing is definitely not as big as the one I have on my t-shirt, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. While I'm filming this, the design is actually private. It should be public once I post this video. I wasn't sure if people would be interested, so I would like people to tell me down below if it's something that it's worth doing. I mean, I know I should be doing this for myself, but it's nice to have people let me know because I don't really know what people think. I hope I said everything that I needed to say. If you can, go check out my Teespring shop, but you definitely don't have to. I was just putting this out there since it's the design from this video and I thought it would be pretty fitting for me to mention this now. I will definitely be putting more designs on there. They're not that cheap, I do know that, so if you know someone who is interested and has money to buy on a t-shirt, then you can share this, the t-shirt, my shop. It would really mean a lot. If you have any questions about this, then definitely let me know down below. But yeah, if you stuck this long into this video, then thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye!